Welcome to the Sports Trigger, everyone. Today we have a great weekend recap for you. First, we're going over some Judge Strikeouts, the AP poll in college football, Lakers tampering with, we won't mention his name yet, and a Little League World Series perfect game. Travis, are you ready to get started today?
Let's talk recap.
Welcome back, everyone. Travis, let's start out with our weekend recap, talking a little bit of Aaron Judge swing and misses. We've talked about the home runs, but what do you think about all the strikeouts piling up for him?
It's funny because initially I really didn't pay too much attention to it. Obviously, the home runs kind of overshadow that, offensive power always will. But it's definitely an interesting story, and I'm not overly surprised because you think of all the several power hitters throughout the years that, are known for obviously hitting dingers, but then they're also known for striking out as well. So I definitely think it's interesting. It's a great story, not for him and the Yankees, but, I definitely think it's something to pay attention to moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it one way, it's a record, right? And it's probably when you think of strikeouts, it's a negative connotation, so you're not like, oh man, I'd love to be in the record book for all these strikeouts, especially in a row. But you know what? To me, I really don't care because at the same time, he's hitting home runs, albeit not at the same pace as he was in the first half of the season, but he's still jacking over home runs, and he's still an entertaining player that I want to go and watch. I'd rather him strike out than walk a lot, to be honest, or watch a whole bunch of strike three calls. So what it tells me is he's at least being aggressive swinging. So as a casual fan, I'm all for him continuing to try and jack homers over, but you as a Yankees fan, you have to at some point be like, okay, I want him on base. I'd rather him, go for a single or a double. I mean, I don't know if a 6'7" guy can calm himself. He's 6'7", right?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
To calm himself down to just settle for a single or a double.
Yeah, and that it's tough because obviously you love it when they hit home runs, but then as you stated, I'm obviously a Yankee fan. I want to see him get on base as well. So I mean, he doesn't obviously have to do it overly often, but obviously more often than just swinging for the fences every single time. That would be a lot more reassuring. And then obviously, there's people behind him who can hit him in, so he's in the 3 spot. So at least give it a chance.
Yeah. So I don't really care right now, but if it starts to affect the wins and, say maybe the Yankees don't make the playoffs this year, then maybe next year, he needs to take that next leap of maybe just being walked more times. And then everybody's like, okay, we can calm down, but at the same point, you have to love that he's being aggressive swinging the bat as well. Moving on to the next topic, the AP Top 25 College Football Poll is out. Travis, what are your first thoughts just looking at the top 25?
No surprise, no surprise, especially with Bama at top. They had the majority of the first place votes. Big surprise there. Ohio State at 2, Florida State, followed by USC and Clemson. I am a little surprised that Clemson is 5. They have a great defense, a lot of, especially their defensive line, but I would definitely be okay with them sliding down maybe around to the 10 mark just because, they lost to Sean Watson. What a huge loss that is. They won the national championship just because of him last year, lose Mike Williams, some other notable offensive players. So, aside from that, I'm not really overly upset with any of the rankings.
Yeah, when you look at it, the one thing that jumps out to you, I guess, ultimately, is you look at it and there's only one SEC team in the top 10 right now, and there's 2 Big 12 teams in the top 10, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. So both Oklahoma schools getting in there. I guess I'm a little surprised, not as much with Oklahoma State because they actually have a lot on offense coming back. Oklahoma has Baker Mayfield, and I feel like a lot of uncertainty there, and so I'm a little surprised that they get the nod up as high as they are. I guess I could see them dropping back more to a 10. With Wisconsin, I'm a little bit, I don't know. They have quite a bit coming back, but with the injury to Sishi, right? I think that's how you say his last name.
Their linebacker.
Yeah, linebacker there. So that'll be interesting to see. And the perception of Wisconsin generally has been consistent, but top 10, I don't know. I don't have an issue with that, but at the same point, you know, I don't know. I guess I could have seen Auburn maybe taking their place there if I'm being absolutely honest, or maybe even Florida actually, because I think Florida has a lot of, you know, they've been consistent the last few years, and usually the SEC gets a little more love. But really, no complaints on my side from right now. I mean, some of these teams, especially Alabama and Florida State, shaking out early on. And I think who does Oklahoma State have big? Do they play?
I don't think they have any huge. I think the biggest non-conference game they have, and it's not opening weekend, is Pitt. Aside from that, I think it's, you know, just all conference from there as far as difficulty of schedule.
Okay. So yeah, all in all, really the top 10 right now as it is, you know, not a big deal really. It's pretty much how everybody would expect it. You know, all the teams with returning quarterbacks, they're pretty much sitting at the top there, really. If you look, all the way up to number 9, really, you have all the returning quarterbacks coming back outside of Clemson. Sorry, so there's one other one there. So no big surprises there. I think we're going to see a lot of shifting throughout the year, anyways, as some of these teams start to play each other. And it'll actually be really interesting to see how much Alabama or Florida State would bump down. Because I think there's some teams in the top 10, Washington, USC even. Yeah, one of those two teams that they might have a tough time losing, just based on their schedule throughout the year after, they play some of these teams. So, that'll be interesting to see that shake down. Moving on then to the next, topic here. Let's just, get this out of the way. One word to describe the Lakers tampering case being brought up here.
Unsurprising. Not surprising. I guess it's not one word, but
So you're not surprised that the Pacers brought this, or you wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers did tamper.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers did tamper.
Okay. I am going to be late. That's my word, late. If you're going to bring this, I feel like unless the Pacers got some bombshell of an evidence later on, right now or something like that, that came out of the blue, I think they're really late to this party. If you're going to file it, I thought you would have filed it a lot earlier, but who knows what's going on behind the scenes. I don't think anything's going to come of it because the burden of proof is so high. But at the same time, if the Pacers did have something and waited until now, I'm going to go with late. And so I'm not even going to mention the name of the player that they're tampering with.
You know, one quick thing about that, it's funny because now that Magic's at the Lakers, it's just funny because it's almost like Bird is kind of doing this maybe to get a little shot in at Magic, whether or not this is true or not.
Right, it's just starting the conspiracy theories out there. But like I said, who knows? I really don't know why they would bring
speculation.
It's such weird timing that it almost makes you feel like maybe they just got something out of the blue that we're like, oh yeah, let's file this charge here. So I mean, huge ramifications if it's true. But right now, I'm kind of thinking it's just late to the party. Nothing's really going on. Final topic here, Little League World Series, the UNC team that had 3 pitchers go the distance and pitch a perfect game. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I mean, you definitely don't hear about that often, especially Little League. I know, it happens every couple of years at least, but it's amazing. I mean, honestly, it's unheard of. I've never heard of it. Obviously in the pros especially, but Little League to be able to do that, that's very impressive.
Well, especially 3 different pitchers because you're just pulling them from out of the field. So, I guess they're just able to come in and jump into the game. Actually, according to ESPN's stats or ESPN's announcer on the game, this was the first perfect game in Little League World Series play since 2008. So it's not an area. Wow. I think we've had a lot of no-hitters, but this is the first perfect game since 2008. So, split among 3 pitchers, that's pretty impressive in itself. With that being said, anything else you want to add on to the Little League World Series before we sign off here?
No, I mean, just going off of what you said, that's just impressive, especially that those kids are being pulled off cold. I don't think people understand they're not being warmed up before, they get the opportunity to go out and pitch. So just adding on that, it's just very impressive.
Right. So with that being said, guys, thanks a lot for joining us on the Sports Trigger for another weekend recap. And until next time.